welcome to the second ever TED Talks at Korn Ferry Future Step Dallas. As you know, this is a series that we kicked off last month, and each month has a different theme, this month's being identity. So without further ado, I would like to start by announcing our first speaker. Hailing from Virginia Beach, this person is very into Star Wars and Pokemon. There's also a video on the internet of this person singing somewhere, so have fun looking that up. And that is it. Without further ado, please welcome future husband Sean Cantarella.
Thanks for coming out. Again, I'm Sean, and I'm going to speak to you today about identity. I was a brand new teenager going into his freshman year of high school when my dad decided to invite my brother and I to lunch with the mayor of Washington, D.C. Whoa. I'm like 13, I don't know what's going on. All right, I can do this. No problem. So we show up to lunch. Mayor shows up shortly after. My dad says hi. My brother says hi, and in my 13-year-old voice, in a handshake, hi. Okay, it's a rough start, I know. It's a rough start. So we go down, we sit down at lunch. 5 minutes go by, and nothing has come out of my mouth. Okay, I still got this. 30 minutes go by, and still not another word comes out of my mouth. 1 hour at lunch with the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I don't utter a single word. What am I thinking, right? I'm sure that we've all had situations like this, where we felt like we couldn't connect with somebody. We couldn't identify with them. Because maybe they were too senior. Maybe we thought they were just too smart for us. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe we thought they were just too junior. We couldn't connect with them that way. But they just came from a different culture, and there's just no way that anything about their life is the same as mine. Well, I can tell you that it's easy to connect with somebody. I can tell you that you can ask a simple question like, where'd you go to college? Oh, I went there too. That teacher? Yeah, she was great. Or maybe it's something like, you both played a sport and you both won a championship. You both know what it's like to go through that situation. But in my 6.5 weeks here, 6 weeks here, I've learned something from Korn Ferry. You have to go above and beyond. And as recruiters, we're called to go above and beyond when speaking with candidates. How are you going to ask a candidate to maybe move from one side of the country to the other? Or maybe from one country to another? If you cannot connect with them, if you can't identify with them on a deep level. Because everything about their situation may change. The people that they interact with on a daily basis are going to be different. The coffee they may be drinking could be different. Their children might grow up in a different place, different school, different environment. And how are you going to how are you going to ask them to do that? If they can't trust you, if you haven't identified with them, if you haven't literally put yourself in their shoes and walked in them, or seen through their eyes. So I urge all of us to remember on an everyday basis and in our recruiting roles to go above and beyond and identify with people. You will gain valuable insight into who that person is. You're going to grow your network, and you will build a very strong relationship. Don't miss out on an opportunity like I did. Because who knows? Maybe today, the mayor and I would be best buds if I had just said a word. Thank you.
This next person comes to our firm nationally ranked in debate after having done it throughout high school and college. He also enjoys cooking, writing, and reading in his spare time. Please welcome Poli-Sci Rutgers alum, Russell Potter.
I'm actually going to use the table a little bit. That's hard to see what's up there. All right. So first and foremost, thanks everyone for coming out here today. It means a great much to myself and I'm sure all the other individuals presenting to see such a rousing amount of support from the office. You know, me as an individual, I'm not a person who often likes to disclose a lot about myself to other people. I'm typically a very private person. But for those of you who are particularly close, you do know that, you know, my family did suffer a pretty great loss this year. This past December, my grandmother did pass. And really, at the end of the day, she was not only a wonderful woman, but she was fantastic at making connections with people. She really was great at finding that one thing that you were able to connect with them on, and really make it not only just a facet of whatever her conversations were with you, but also always a topic at her dinner table. And you guys know the typical grandma. She'll come into the house, the meal will be cooking, it would be laid out on the table, and she'll say, "So, how's the love life?" And you know where it's gonna go from there, and it just goes downhill from there. But the food is great, the connections are there, and you always find yourself wanting to go back. That's the type of connection that food can give you, and that's one of the biggest gifts my grandmother gave to me. And it's one of the things that I come here to share with all of you today, is to be cognizant and aware of the choices you make when you do choose to eat certain foods and choose not to eat others. Now, I'm not going to harp on be a vegetarian, don't be a vegetarian. Do that whatever you want to do with your life. But at the end of the day, I do think there are certain amounts and certain levels of understanding about culture, about the way we interact with one another, and about the understandings we have for who we are as people that interplay with food and the cultural identity therein. Bear in mind that there are many individuals out there who cannot afford to buy certain types of food. There are food deserts across the country. Food has been used as a political tool from the 79 sanctions against Iran to the 84 ones against South Africa. Time and time again, oftentimes this food has been used and held hostage to get what people want and has been an extension of a person's will. We think that oftentimes, and what I think personally, when we make a decision to buy food, oh, it's something innocuous, oh, it's just a choice, it's a Friday night, who cares, it's a slice of pizza. But step back for a second. Think of what message you're telling the Italian immigrants who have come to America, who have made the time and effort to go into that recipe, to have made the selection of their ingredients, be it from an Italian market or be it handmade, be it those choices to buy those certain types of ingredients, to cook it, to serve it in a certain style. Keep in mind the thought and process that goes behind each and every decision that goes into the making and formation of that food. And try and be loyal to that process when you yourself are cooking or are going out and selecting another type of food. It's very easy to say, oh, it's cheap, it's P.F. Chang's, as opposed to something more authentic. But at the end of the day, when you're making that decision for yourself, for your peers, you might be missing out by not being willing to try new things. I think that one of the most important things that we can all consider, and we can all say we ought to do, is just go out and be more willing to say yes. Make a chance to sit down with a local chef, local restaurateur, even just the person sitting next to you at their restaurant or at some kind of place like the cafeteria in the office, and forge that connection with the individual. I guarantee you it's way easier to talk to people over food, over drinks, God knows I love to drink, and other things like that. I think at the end of the day, when you're able to have that connection, that real interpersonal conversation, that's how you break the bridges down. It's how you're able to actually have a real conversation with other people, and an honest and open and transparent one. Many times it's very easy to look at the differences between us, to say, they don't talk like us, their food smells differently than ours, I don't want to be associated with this group of people. But the fact is that those very same dividers will be barriers in your career, in your day-to-day life, and will ultimately make it so that you as yourself are living a less enriched life. So I encourage all of us to take a chance, break down some of those walls, try something new, go to a restaurant you may not have otherwise tried, do it this weekend. Taste of Addison is in Addison Circle Park this weekend. It's $15 to go. I'll be there on Saturday. It's a lot of fun. But the fact of the matter is that these types of things are great ways for you to break down those walls, to foster a community. And as Korn Ferry and as Future Step, as a company, we ought to be prioritizing these things. And I think we all do on a day-to-day basis, but we need to be thinking of it more so when we make the innocuous decisions, the decisions of what we put into our cart and what we put into our mouths. Thank you all for being here. I'm Russell Potter.
This next presenter studied animation in college and is an illustrator. He also has a large love for cartoons. And in 2013, decided to share that love with us by joining Future Step and is now currently working in talent communications and employer branding. Please put your hands together for Chris Herod.
So welcome everybody. Again, my name is Chris Herod. I appreciate all of you being here. I'm going to be talking about personal identity as a recruitment differentiator. But before I start, I want to take you on a little bit of a journey, if you will. A journey through space and time, as funny as it sounds. I'd like to take you back a little bit and take a good look at me. What you're seeing is a living relic. Now I know you're thinking to yourself, you're too young. There's no way in the world you could consider yourself a relic. I've been around the block quite a bit, as some of you can attest to. And as a result of all of my travels, you can classify me in a certain way. A little like this guy, which I like to term Recruitosaurus Rex. Anybody who has recruited before the advent of the internet, can you raise your hands? Anyone? There we go. We have a couple in the crowd that are fall into similar category. So, a little bit about me. I've worked 20 years worth of recruitment services. I've worked corporately. I've worked in RPO as well as in staffing over that period of time, and I've recruited everything from warehousemen to C-suite executives. So, when I first got started in the business, I had a few tools that were given to me. I was told that I needed to sell the recruitment business, and this is what they handed me. I was told that I needed to then recruit for said business, and this is what they handed me. Is anybody not familiar with these books? I just need to make sure. You never really know.
If you need to Google it, that's okay.
And they gave me a phone. Now, of course, this is an approximation. This iteration is a little bit older than I am, but nonetheless, you kind of get the idea. Since I started, there have been so many tools that have been added to the marketplace, and things have progressed in this field to make recruiters' work more efficient and more effective. And so we have all of these different tools that are in the marketplace. I'd like you to count down with me, if you would. So if I could get you to carry on with me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. No zero, but well, that's about the amount of time that I had to pitch. So when I was making these seemingly random phone calls, I had to pitch in about that amount of time before people would get bored, get tired, or just hang up on me. So I had to develop tools to build rapport very, very quickly, and I became very adept at it. So in order for me to be able to do so, I had to emphasize one thing in particular. my sparkling personality. So with my sparkling personality, I was able to then bridge that divide to hopefully make a connection very quickly. And while I've noticed that technology, of course, has made things more effective and more efficient, and it's easier for us to find candidates now, it's also depersonalized the experience. Candidates have in my career, have been valued commodities to invaluable and inexhaustible, seemingly inexhaustible commodities to companies. We, in turn, as recruiters, have become faceless entities for a lot of individuals. And since I've joined the branding team coming from recruitment, I've noticed that companies are now emphasizing authenticity. They're really building messages towards things that hand a personal touch to candidates. Now we ask ourselves, why is this so? What's driving this evolution? So low unemployment is one thing. Job boards, believe it or not, are going the way of the Yellow Pages. We thought the Yellow Pages would never go away. Job boards are becoming a similar entity in that they're overused, but now people are going to them less. Specialized skills are getting more and more difficult to find, and candidates are more selective about where they apply. They, on average, check 18 different sources before actually just applying for a role. That's not even accepting, that's just applying. But candidates also have identified that salary is the main driver for them in making a decision about a position itself. But the great news is that an overwhelming majority of candidates also say that a great candidate experience trumps even salary. So how does all of this fit together? Well, one of the first gentlemen that I worked for in this business told me, or gave me this quote: as far as they are concerned, the most important person you'll ever speak to is the person that you're speaking to. And while we'd like to treat everybody like this, we know that this prospect is not realistic in most cases. But the truth be told, we actually, as recruiters, want the exact same things that candidates do, or very similar things. We have mutual needs. So these things being authenticity. Now, what does this mean in the recruitment and the candidate world? Authenticity means interest from them. We want them to express interest in our roles. For us, what we want from what the candidate wants from us is engagement. They want to be engaged. They want to stay in touch with us. They want to know what's going on. Oh! Wow!
What do you think? Should we give it a little more time?
Thank you. They also want transparency, and I apologize, and it will be quick, I promise. They also want transparency as what we do. So on our side, it looks like availability and flexibility. We want to be able to align them with interview slots and have them be available for interview slots. We want them to show up on time. We want all of those things. On their side, they would like process clarity. They want to know what are the next steps. So transparency is very important on both ends. The value proposition. We offer an opportunity. They offer us skill set and information and an ongoing relationship. So they're looking for to be considered for future opportunities, just in case they aren't considered for their current opportunity. And we're looking for referrals, and we're looking for leads. Who do you know, right? So all of this together means an ongoing, mutually engaging relationship, all built around one word: trust. So we're attempting to build trust through this communication, through this rapport that we've built. So our key takeaways in all of this: we need to tailor our pitch, right? We'll need to address common concerns or concerns that are common to the role. So if you're responsive, you're going to Glassdoor, you're understanding exactly what reviews online are saying, and you're tailoring a pitch. You're also controlling the conversation. There's a surplus of brand information out there. While I only had to deal with 10 seconds worth of time before I would get hung up on, current recruiters have it even worse, to tell you the truth. Because mine was a 10-second proposition. Yours, they've already established that whether or not they want to work for your organization before you even speak to them. And so being able to grab that information and control the conversation is imperative. Think of the janitor as you would the CEO. That goes without saying. You're treating people as if they are a valuable person for the role and a great fit for the role. And be your best you. This is where identity really comes to the fore. You are an extension of employer brand. So everybody that you contact is an extension of what the company is attempting to communicate out to the candidate base. Thank you very much.
An anecdote about the last and final presenter. It's very serious. When this person was 5 years old, this person was run over by an 800-pound pig at a petting zoo, but obviously lived to tell the tale. But because of this very tragic event, she got a free shirt from the zoo, making it obviously worth it. But for years, she ate bacon as revenge, despite the fact that all bacon does not come from that specific pig. She realized that and now eats bacon for fun. Please welcome a survivor, Allie Ryan.
Thank you so much, Allie, for that lovely introduction, and thank you everybody for being here today. My name is Allie Ryan. You might have seen in the halls that my full name is Alexandra. I respond to that. I also respond to my twin sister's name, so you can call me Kelly as well. So, to get started, about a week and a half ago, I ate a Chick-fil-A sandwich in about 90 seconds. I looked down at the crumbs in my lap, and I thought, this is who I am. This is the definition of Allie Ryan, along with sister, daughter, employee at Future Step, and Olympian, a model, and but a lot of times we think to ourselves, who am I? And this is kind of a scary question. Normally when I think to myself, who am I, my brain kind of goes, really? You really want to try that one this evening? Why don't you go to bed and put it for another day? And that's normally what happens, and why is that? Why are we so afraid of this question, who am I? And I think it's because we are asking ourselves the wrong question. I think we should be asking ourselves, who am I becoming? And if you can believe it, I'm about to tell you 3 reasons as to why that is. So the first is when we ask ourselves, who am I? We're finalizing our current characteristics. So our strengths and weaknesses, we're making it seem as though we have no opportunity for growth. And it kind of gives us an out, right? So we can say, I'm stubborn, but that's just who I am. Or an even more extreme account, yeah, you know, I rob banks on the side, but I can't help who I am. That's in my blood. There's nothing I can do about that. Of course there's something you can do about that. You have the opportunity for growth at all stages in your life. So what you want to do is look at your current characteristics and go, are these helping me get to my goals? Or are they hurting me from getting to those points? And so for my next point about asking ourselves who am I and how it's detrimental, is when we say who am I, when we finalize those strengths and weaknesses, we are setting ourselves up for a lifetime of events that are super high and super low. So it kind of gives us that roller coaster effect like this, which we should leave to the experts at Six Flags and not put that into our life events. So, for example, let's say we are great professionally. We excel. We get promotion after promotion after promotion. And every time something happens in our work life, we are at a super high point. But nobody likes us. And our personal life keeps failing. So we go from that super high to that super low over and over again. What we're looking for is continuous growth. So we're kind of looking for something that goes like this. And maybe there are a few hiccups in our work life, but you know, there are also just a few hiccups in our personal life. But otherwise, we're doing great. We have a wife and a dog named Tammy, and we try a new recipe once a week to develop culinary diversity. So that's what we're kind of looking for, is that steady incline, right? And so the third reason as to why we should be asking ourselves, who am I becoming instead of who am I, is because when we ask ourselves, who am I, we're not giving ourselves any time. We're saying we need an answer right away. And sometimes the first answer isn't the best answer. A great example of this is, let's say you're trying to lose weight and you want to lose 10 pounds. So you say, I am only going to eat Hidden Valley Ranch dressing for the next 2 weeks. That is my diet. First of all, it's disgusting. Second of all, you might lose the 10 pounds, but what happens after those 2 weeks? You go back to your bad habits and you gain that weight back. So you do that crazy diet, lose the 10 pounds, you gain it right back. Do that crazy diet, gain it right back. And what you're looking for, again, is that continuous growth. So, in regards to the whole diet thing, you could say, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to exercise my body and my mind, and hopefully, over the next month and a half, I will see progress. I guarantee you will, but also, after that point, you will continue on doing those things in which you saw progress come from. So, what I'm getting at here really is, if we look at ourselves 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I'm sure we've all changed in ways that we didn't even expect to happen. We've grown in ways which we didn't expect to happen. And we should give ourselves that time and that kind of perspective on things, that we can change as much as we want to. And our characteristics are not final unless we really say they are. So next time you sit down and you ask yourself, who am I suggest we all ask ourselves, who are we becoming? Thank you.
One last round of applause for all of our presenters. Great job, everyone. And thank you all so much for coming to our second ever TED Talk event. If you liked what you saw today and you'd like to do one yourself, very easy to access our website, and I'll turn it over to Angela to show that or tell you more about that. But really easy to go on the website, sign up, and also vote for your two favorite presenters today. So Angela.
So my name is Angela, and I help Franz organize this TED Talk. So thank you very much for showing up and attending to the speakers today. And then, so any questions or comments that we want to give to our four awesome speakers today? Anybody? All right. So, anything?
Did you ever get to talk to the mayor?
Did I ever talk to him again?
Yeah.
Yeah. You call him?
No. I don't even remember his name. I don't remember anything. It was bad. It was bad.
He's blocked it from his memory.
Yeah. I can ask my dad though. He talked to him.
Cool, Jamie.
I just want to say that everyone did a really, really good job this time, and I'm glad we aren't really having to like pick winners anymore, because I'd be really sad to have any of these people like not win.
Well, the good news is from this time on, all of our speakers will be going to lunch with Bill Zebra.
All right.
Our last group of speakers, TED 1, went to Ida Claire, which is a southern restaurant on Beltline, I believe. And according to Jamie, that went really fabulously. And also Ali, our speaker from last time, also it went very well. This time the speakers voted to go to Flying Fish. So if you want to go to one of those awesome restaurants, and with Bill Zebra paying the bill, then you can definitely sign up. And then we have our schedule already set it up for all the rest of our TED Talk for 2016. In June, our project day is 17th, and then it's going to be recruiting hacks being the topic. July, honoring July 4th, it's going to be honor/patriotism/military. August will be decision making. September, overcoming adversity. October, teach us something new. This is a topic that we developed because on Real TED Talks we actually have people like, oh, so how to draw a cartoon real quick, or how to start singing, or anything, or even how to give a TED Talk. Apparently there's a TED Talk doing that. So if you have some hidden skills, you know, ninja, sword, whatever, if you want to teach the office, then that's the time to sign up. And then last one for this year is